It's never been hard for me to find a stable job, but one that pays well and that's close by is usually a problem. I had recently been fired from the Inkwell, which is a small printing shop. I'm not sure if it's still open. Anyway, my wife was very concerned I wouldn't be able to find a job, but I rested easy knowing I could find one in a day. There was no way I'd let my child go without food or toys, and he had his eye on this new Crash Bandicoot toy. I did find a job, and it paid well too, but it was an hour and 15 minutes from home. It'd be my first day at West Camp Press, and I was on a long stretch of road from Chillicothe to Columbus when I saw a man hitchhiking. Let me back up. I don't know that he was hitchhiking for sure. In fact, now, something makes me think I was hitchhiking. I know it sounds crazy. I had the car, I was driving, the lease on the Hyundai, and the car insurance, it was all mine. I should have been giving him a ride. But when I think about him quietly getting into the car and not responding to my greeting, it makes me think he was taking me somewhere. I didn't think I was in danger. Well, maybe initially, but a few minutes in, I realized he wasn't a serial killer. Because if he was, he would have already done the deed by now. I guess he was a man so down on his luck that he had nothing to say. He was dressed in all black. He didn't look homeless, but he did have an unkempt beard. Glancing at his face, I realized he must have been Middle Eastern, but the kind of Middle Eastern that isn't immediately observable to white people, if you know what I mean, like Lebanese or something. I was content there for a while, and for a while, I mean that day. Somewhere along the line, he got out. I can't remember how or why, but he did. I got to work, standard print job, good pay, long drive home, and I was happy. Although I had a nagging thought about the man I let into my car. I'd like to play it off like I'm a kind guy, but that's not like me. When I got home, my son was playing with that new toy he wanted. My wife wasted no time getting it for him when she heard I got this job. She had something from me as well. I was driving to work the day after that, and there he was again, right where I picked him up the first day. I rolled down the window and asked him how he got back down there. He got in and rolled up the window, and I drove to work. Again, he left at some point, and I was off my game at work, which was bad. I was trying to leave a good impression. All my coworkers looked at me with confusion. Confusion at my confusion. When I got home, I was still out of it. My wife didn't notice, but my son did. He said, "Are you okay, Dad?" And I said I was fine. Seeing my son happy was very reassuring. It was the third day, and you can guess most of it, can't you? It came to break time at work, and a friend I made there pulled me aside. I asked if I smelled like shit or if I was doing a bad job. He said, Nah, I think you're doing fine. But I just wanted to talk to you about a problem I've been having. See, I've been giving this guy a lift every day, a hitchhiker. He went on to explain an experience similar to what I had been experiencing. He thought I was making fun of him when I first explained that I had been going through the same thing. When we entered the break room, we found out that everyone there, without exception, had been experiencing something very similar. All the staff that worked there in the printing room. When we started working again, we tried to laugh it off. Like, it was a tale we were all telling to spice up our standard work day. But things fell silent as soon as we all knew the truth. It hadn't been like that before. We had been chatting and ribbing each other. I had been taking most of the ribbing as the new guy. But now, we were all unsure of what the future held. When we clocked out, we said, "Have a safe trip home," like that's what we were afraid of. It was Friday, and the fourth day that the man hitchhiked with me. It was also the last day. This time, I stopped at a gas station before going to work. Not to refuel or to get snack or a coffee, not because the man told me to drop him off there. I just kinda stopped there. The man got out, but not before telling me the only thing he ever said to me. Your son will have a bright future. He shut the door calmly, and I drove away, feeling like I had just been judged. When I got to work, I said what had happened. People started chiming in, saying the same thing happened to them. But my new friend said, "That's not what he told me." Later that day, I met the owner of the company. Later that day, the owner fired my friend.